As the immigration crackdown intensifies, U.S. President Donald Trump said that immigration raids across America haven't gone far enough. In a CBS 60 Minutes interview, Trump blamed liberal judges for slowing his deportation agenda. Trump also dismissed criticism of immigration and customs enforcement tactics, including reports of agents tackling suspects, using tear gas, and smashing car windows. Defending videos of ICE agents using force, Trump said that they were just doing their jobs. As per reports, data shows ICE detained only a fraction of immigrants with serious criminal convictions this year. However, critics say the raids have also targeted workers, such as landscapers and farmers, without criminal records. Trump in the interview said that he still needs farmers and landscapers, but laws must be enforced. He said people who were deported could return legally through the proper immigration process. Trump hinted he could invoke the Insurrection Act to deploy the military if needed in U.S. cities. That law allows presidents to send active duty troops when local forces are overwhelmed. It was last used in 1992 during the Los Angeles riots under President George H.W. Bush. Meanwhile, the administration expanded a program letting local police enforce immigration laws. Nearly 16,000 officers across 40 states have joined, driving a surge in arrests, as per reports. Homeland Security reported over 527,000 deportations since President Trump took office in January this year. As per U.S. officials, more than 2 million people have left the U.S., including voluntary departures.
Our job every single day at the Department of Homeland Security is to keep the American people safe, to protect our homeland and to defend our homeland and to enforce our laws. We don't pick and choose who our laws apply to. They get applied equally to everyone, and we always put American citizens first because that's what our Constitution guarantees us. We are so grateful that we have a president who understands and respects the law, that lets our law enforcement officers go out every single day and do their jobs. Completely different situation than what we saw under the last administration. Our ICE officers, our CBP officers, our Highway Patrol, our local law enforcement officers are so thankful that they get to go out every day and do a work that keeps their families safe and keeps their communities safe. And we're so grateful that we have partners like we do here in Indiana that will continue to allow us to do this good work. What we've seen in attacks on ICE officers is unacceptable. The 1,000% increase in attacks on them is unacceptable. We just recently have learned that death threats against our ICE officers is up 8,000%. Now, I'll remind you, every single ICE officer has someone who loves them, has a family member, someone who cares that they come home at night. And death threats against them, people who want to kill them, have increased by 8,000%. What I would encourage all of you today is to go focus on telling the story of a law enforcement officer. Go thank them for their service. Go support their family members. Be grateful that we have communities that are safe. And spend at least 5 to 10 minutes today thinking, what would you do if we did not have law enforcement officers in our communities and in our states and in our country keeping us safe? What would this country look like if they didn't get out of bed every day and go to work proud to put on that badge, to put on that uniform, and to go fight to make sure that everybody can live safely and can have a future that they can be proud of in the greatest country that ever existed. So with that, I will open it up to any questions that you may have.
Secretary Hill?
Yes.
Governor Pritzker has asked for Operation Midway Blitz to be on pause for the holiday weekend. Are you willing to do that? And if you're not, why not?
No, we're absolutely not willing to put on pause any work that we will do to keep communities safe. The fact that Governor Pritzker is asking for that is shameful, and I think unfortunate that he doesn't recognize how important the work is that we do to make sure we're bringing criminals to justice and getting them off our streets, especially when we're going to send all of our kiddos out on the streets and going to events and enjoying the holiday season. We want to make sure that they're safe. And if you see, even up here, we have individuals that we've picked up off the streets with our ICE officers and CBP officers that have assault against a child, child pedophiles, rapes. Those individuals don't deserve to be on our streets, and we're certainly not going to let our kids be victimized by them. We absolutely every day are focused on arresting the worst of the worst and those individuals that have been targeted for their criminal activities. But remember, if you come into our country illegally, you are breaking our laws. You are committing a criminal activity. And many times when we're out there on the streets making sure that we're getting these criminals off of our streets and out of our communities, that there are individuals that they are with that we also are making sure that they should be in this country. And if they aren't, then we're making sure that they get their due process and they're removed and returned to their home countries. The one thing I would remind every single person in this country is someone who is here illegally has the opportunity to go home voluntarily. That if they get on the CBP Home app, we will give them $1,000 cash when they get home and buy them a plane ticket to get there, and they will have the opportunity to come back to America the right way. If they wait until we detain them and pick them up off of our streets, they'll never get the chance to come back to the United States of America. I would say the White House and I am and our leadership team is thrilled with all the work that ICE and Border Patrol are doing to help clean up our streets. In fact, giving people an opportunity to lead is fantastic. Giving people an opportunity to step up and take up on more responsibilities is a wonderful thing that you see happening in this country right now. As you see more and more operations get built out, we're calling on more people to use their skills and their talents to help enforce our laws. So I've read some of the reporting that talks about some dissatisfaction between the entities. It's just absolutely false. In fact, I think it's shameful for individuals to be quoted and used as sources for these news articles without their names being used. If you don't have a source and somebody who's willing to go on the record, then they're simply not telling the truth, and that's where I've seen most of that reporting come from. You can see from the work that these partnerships build on, that we work with other states such as Indiana and Governor Braun and his team, that many dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens are taken off of our streets, that our laws are upheld, and that Americans are protected because of the operations and the work that's being done. Since the beginning of Midway Blitz, ICE and CBP and our state partners have arrested more than 3,000 illegal aliens, including rapists, murderers, and gang members that have been brought to justice. And listen, we don't want any of these individuals out on our roads, and we don't want them in our communities, and we especially don't want them behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler when they can't speak our language, they don't understand our laws, they can't follow our roadway signs, and they can't interact with law enforcement or our citizens. It's dangerous, and it's not going to happen under the Trump administration like it did under the Biden administration. Thousands and thousands of Americans are protected because of the work that's being done with states such as this.